obviously a very rainy morning where I am, and I'm not mad about it. I'm definitely a rain girl. I feel like I could look at the rain and just be in a meditative state the whole day. Just feel like a sense of calm and peace, and I just find it grounds me. I don't know if you're the same. I know that there's some sunshine girls out there who just love their sunshine, but I do too. But I just feel just peace when it's raining. That's me. So I don't know if you're the same, but I have my candles going. I have my warm coffee. I just had a wonderful morning with my family. Cooper's been extra cuddly too, our chocolate lab. He is just such a cute little being. He's 2.5 now, which is crazy, but he's just definitely calmed down. And I think that he's a rain boy as well. Like every time it's raining, he's like looking outside, just like reminiscing about his like dog life, I guess. Today's video, I want to talk a little bit about rainy days and chronic conditions and illnesses. Number one, I think it's kind of like nature's way to tell us to slow down. If you are here and you are the same as me, I feel like we go, 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 and we don't give ourselves breaks. And I think with chronic conditions, for myself, I feel like I have to compete and say like, I can do anything that anyone else can do, and I can keep up and I can be at the same energy levels, even with a chronic condition. And it's kind of proving to myself like, no, I can do it. But in reality, I'm like, I'm exhausted. Like I need a break, but I can't let other people show like signs of weakness. And I think that's a bit of society's image of those with chronic conditions, that we're weak or unable or different than or other than. And so rainy days for me, and this is kind of a sign for myself in my personal journey of like, slow down. You don't have to do anything today. You can sit and reflect and just focus on taking care of you. And that is so true, because recently we've been on a lot of travel, our family. A couple weeks ago, we were in British Columbia, Vancouver for a family wedding. And then I was in Toronto for work. So that was a bit of travel. And then I was recently in Germany randomly for vacation for myself. So it's just been a lot of travel, a lot of flights, a lot of different time zones. So I feel like I'm still a little bit jet lagged and still was feeling like, whoa, what is happening? Like I'm in like this vortex of travel and time. And it was obviously exciting bits and lots of celebration and lots of new things to see, which is amazing. And I feel so grateful for it. But I definitely think today is like, okay, like you've been go, go, go. Like you need to sit and just take care of yourself, because if you don't, and you continue on this trajectory of go, 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 your body is going to like be in more pain, be in more discomfort. A flare could be created. So I just feel like at peace and a little bit further grounded than I originally was earlier in the week with the rain. That's just one aspect of chronic conditions and rain. It's kind of like coming into alignment, I guess, with nature and your body and the rhythm of things and the way it's supposed to be, is the way I feel. Second thing that I want to chat about further, I guess, today is rainy days and like emotions that can come with chronic conditions. Oftentimes when it's sunny out, I feel like my brain is somewhere else of, oh, I can go outside and go to the park with my daughter, or there's basically more things on my mind because I'm like forced to be active and busy and think of other things to do. Whereas when you're forced to sit inside when it's raining, obviously it can be calming and grounding for some, like myself, but it can also bring time for emotions to come forward because you're stuck with yourself in that day and you're like, oh, I see an emotion coming forward that I was suppressing in a sunny day. Like sometimes sadness or loneliness or pain, like actual physical pain, can come forward with rainy days. I know for myself, since giving birth 2 years ago to my daughter, rainy days have, I think it's the air pressure change, but I've started to get headaches later in the day. That's a new like pain, a physical pain that has come with rainy days. I don't know if you have pain or discomfort that comes with change of air pressure or weather pressure and things with rain, but sometimes it can cause that pain and discomfort and can exacerbate chronic condition symptoms. So I'd be curious to hear down below if you experience that with rainy days. But when it comes to feeling loneliness or pain or discomfort or just those emotions that can come forward, it can be a lot. I think I feel thankful because I have my family to like right beside me, like in the room next door if I need to talk through something. But when I lived alone, which was majority of my like adult life, I lived alone, and I found that rainy days were really hard. And so I wanted to talk today in this video about some coping strategies that have helped me on rainy days with my chronic condition, as well as some like comforting tips that help me feel a little bit more grounded and comfortable during a rainy day. So first comfort tip is to create a warm, comforting environment. I feel like lighting a candle really helps like ground me and set the mood and just make me feel a little bit more cozy and comfy. I know scents can be iffy for some people, like sometimes they can be very overbearing and can cause headaches and migraines. And sometimes people just need that comforting scent to bring them back to a fun memory or something that just makes them feel nostalgic and just more comforted. And so opt for whatever works for you, scented or non-scented. I also listen to calming music while I work. So I've been really loving jazz recently, which is like, I guess I'm getting into my like adult phase because jazz was never on my music genre radar. But since playing jazz, it's like less intense of like pop music or sad music. It's just like calming atmosphere. I can work in the background and type and read and do things in the background with it playing. But I feel like, okay, it's jazz. It's like, it's just comforting to me. And so I would love to know what kind of music brings you comfort. Creating a warm environment that's welcoming and grounding and just a warm hug from the outside in is just something that really helps me feel less stressed, less anxious. And I think that's so important when it comes to chronic conditions as well. Increased stress can cause flares to come forward or additional pain and discomfort. And so creating a stress-free environment by indulging in things that make you feel less stressed is definitely something to tap into on those rainy days. Mindfulness practices during rainy days, especially when those emotions are coming forward or you're feeling a little bit of stress that's being held on from the previous days or weeks. It could be deep breathing exercises. Take a deep breath in, count to 5, hold it for a little bit, and then breathe it out. I find another mindfulness practice that aligns with the rainy day is even just looking outside your window and looking at the rainfall, and you can count how many like raindrops are on your window, or just be reflective of looking at nature around you and what's happening during the rainstorm. And extra points if there's lightning because I find like that's also a meditative state in itself of just nature being beautiful and daring and just being its own true self, I guess, in those rainy days. So meditative practice could be just looking outside and just taking in nature around you. Journaling has also been an amazing meditative and mindful practice for myself. I used to journal all the time, especially when I did live alone. I found it was a way to put all the weight off my shoulders onto a piece of paper. I found that I just felt lighter and less stressed because I wasn't holding on to everything internally, like in my shell of a person. I was like, no, it's on paper somewhere and it's off me. And so over time, I feel like I lost a bit of journaling tendencies. I wasn't turning to it as much. I don't know if that was because I was busy. And so recently, like truly in the past couple of months, I've turned back to journaling, and I finished my first journal. I received a new one. And it's just, I notice myself, I'm like, okay, this is a day I need to journal because I can actually sit down while it's raining, put all the things that have been on my mind or on my shoulders off of me and onto a piece of paper. And I know journaling can be interesting if you've never done it. It can be jarring the first time because you start writing about one thing, or at least this is me. I start writing about one thing, like I went for a bike ride today. And then by the end of it, I'm like talking about like my grandma and I'm like reminiscing about like life and family and the way that your brain works and the way that it processes information while you write. It's just so interesting to see by the time you finish that journal entry where you end up. And I think it's kind of your body's way too of letting you know or guiding you through your hand of like what you need to unpack or address or get to the root cause of for the things that you've been holding on to. And so journaling is definitely something that I highly recommend. I do have a video way back when on some journal prompts for your chronic condition if you're interested in diving into it. There are trigger warnings because sometimes it can be tricky to dive into things with your chronic condition. But online, there are so many journal prompts to start your journaling journey. But you can also dive into what's called like shadow prompts, which is like uncovering the things that you may not want to uncover on the day-to-day, but they're really good prompts. So shadow prompts is what they're called if you're looking for something deeper and you're ready for it mentally, physically, and emotionally to take on while journaling. The next thing that rainy days are really good at are forcing you to get back into your self-care routines and rituals that you may or may not have forgotten. I am really bad at this recently. I feel like with all the things on the go, all the travel, I haven't been focusing on taking care of myself. And some of the things that I do on a rainy day to just have a little bit of self-care and self-love and compassion for myself is a warm bath or a hot shower to really just provide a warm hug for myself. I find that baths for me were a really nice way to decompress after a flare-up. I don't know if you're the same, if you have a bath after, just to kind of allow your muscles to relax and just feel like at peace again after a flare. I highly recommend a bath after a flare once you're feeling up and ready for it, just to feel like a sense of peace and a hug for yourself and your body after what it's gone through. Indulging in your favorite skincare routine. I find recently with social media, I feel like skincare routines have like blown up and have gotten crazy. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just opt for your favorite things that make you feel good. It doesn't have to be fancy and it doesn't have to be expensive. It can just be like, put on a moisturizer and put your hair up in a nice hair mask or something. Like, feel like you are taking care of yourself, like even brushing your hair. I am the worst at this. It's like so random, but I'm like, when was the last time I actually brushed my hair? It's like, it's just something that I definitely look at and laugh, but I'm like, little things that are self-care and just self-love. And while you meditate or like look out the window, you can just be brushing your hair and like just put some self-love and care into yourself because you are so deserving of it. You are so worthy of like putting yourself first. And yes, rainy days are good at that, but it should be happening on a day-to-day basis, whether it's raining or not raining. So definitely a little reminder and self-love to you that you deserve to have brushed hair and brushed teeth and just all the things that make you feel good. So again, for myself, a warm bath, a hot shower, brushing my hair, rebrushing my teeth just to feel like extra clean and that I'm taking care of every part of my body. I've heard dry brushing is really nice to increase circulation. I haven't really tried it or dabbled in it myself, but I'm really curious about the dry brushing technique. So curious if you've done it and feel free to comment down below. Taking a rest is also something that I highly recommend without feeling guilty. Rainy days, there's nothing that you need to do. There's nothing pressing that you need to do, okay? You are deserving of rest. And I want to remind you, you are not lazy. I'm gonna get emotional talking about this. I found in the past with a chronic condition, I felt a breath of fresh air when it was raining because I was like, I'm allowed to rest. And I feel like society puts this pressure on us to like always go. And it's that burnout culture of if you're not looking busy or active or posting on socials, whatever it is, I feel like we feel like this sense of impending, like I am lazy or I am unproductive or I am, when you are deserving. You are like working so hard at everything that you do, especially with a chronic condition. You are so deserving of rest and you are not lazy if you're taking a nap or sitting down or indulging in a show that you enjoy and makes you feel like a sense of calm again. Or you sit and you listen to music or you sit and you journal. It is not lazy. It's not unproductive. Your body needs it, and it's your body telling you that you need that rest to recharge and feel yourself again. Especially after a flare-up. I found, again, in the past, I would have a flare-up and be like, okay, my body feels better again. Okay, it's time to do all the things that were on my to-do list. And it's like, whoa, okay, like hold on a second. Your body just went through something extremely painful and excruciating. Your body just needs to lie down and rest and recharge and feel like yourself again. And I could go on about this, but basically on a rainy day, especially for your chronic condition, self-care is self-love and you are so deserving of rest, okay? So if you need to take a nap today, even if it's sunny out, okay? This is a rainy day vlog for me, but even if it's sunny out, nap, okay? Go take a nap, rest, sleep. You are so deserving of it, okay? I love you. I love you. The final thing I'll touch upon is some coping activities when it comes to those emotions that can come forward on a rainy day with our chronic conditions. Number one, I'll always say this, reach out for support when you need it. Journaling can again be really supportive and helpful, but sometimes they can bring forward emotions that you didn't expect or anticipate. So reach out to a friend or a family member that you feel comfortable sharing with. I feel like talking out loud and having that person like acknowledge what you're going through can bring that sense of peace and can allow you to get through a really difficult emotion when it comes to the forefront. There are a lot of support groups online, especially when it comes to the endometriosis community. In Canada, we have the Endometriosis Network of Canada that has online support groups. I'll post them down below. There are a lot of other online support groups out there as well, and feel free to share down below, as I'm sure that it'll help somebody else in their journey find some support. And practicing self-compassion. If it means looking in the mirror after you brush your hair or have a bath and you say, I love you. I am so proud of you. You have gone through so much. If only people knew what you went through and where you are today, how strong you are, how resilient you are, how courageous you are to take the first step to call a doctor and say, listen, there's something wrong with my body. Looking in the mirror and talking directly to yourself is so empowering, and it reminds yourself, like face to face, like you're face to face with yourself, of saying, I am so strong, I am so amazing. Like, look at all the things that I have gone through silently that people haven't recognized that I've gone through, and look where I am on the other side. So if no one's reminded you yet on this rainy, gloomy day, I am so proud of you. Truly, I know exactly what you have been through. And I know a lot of people in our friend groups may not know what we've been through on a day-to-day basis, or years past when we were figuring out our bodies and these new pains and symptoms that we woke up with one day and like didn't ask for. But I'm so proud of you. And I'm just like, the courage that you had to listen to your body, to not ignore it, and to go to a doctor and say, something's wrong with my body. And when you received a no, everything's fine, and you kept going to get an actual answer for the name for your pain, the determination and just the power that you have as a person has not gone unnoticed on my end. Take the rainy days to just reflect on how far you've come, because we don't give ourselves enough credit, especially with a chronic condition and chronic pain and random flares that show up unannounced. We don't give ourselves enough credit for how far we've come and how amazing we are. So I hope this video has been somewhat helpful and comforting, and I would love to hear your coping strategies below during rainy days, especially when it comes to your chronic pain or discomfort or things that just bring you joy on those gloomy, rainy days. And so with that, I'm going to grab another warm cup of something to warm me up, and I can't wait to talk to you on the next one.